Family, I'm back. I know it's been 2 weeks, but it has been a crazy busy 2 weeks in a good way. And if you have me on Instagram, you already know what's been happening. But I'll have a video dropping here soon, what's been going on these past 2 weeks and how I did it. But today we are back with another tutorial. We are going to be doing a mid fade. And to start off this haircut, I'm going to start by just clipping up the front of his hair and sectioning off his hairline, which we have already done here. And we're just going to go ahead and comb the hair out, make sure it's laying in its natural like pattern, you know what I'm saying? Now to start off this haircut, we're going to go ahead and set in our bald line with our gold Babyliss trimmers. And we're going to start at the end of his eyebrow, and we're just going to slightly drop it or slope it towards the back, just so we can allow this fade to fit his head shape a little bit better. And the reason I want to drop it in the back as well is because I don't want to take the fade too high to where we shave, you know, the back of his curls off and make the, you know, the haircut look not really balanced. But we're just gonna go ahead and do that through the entire head. And now I'm just gonna go ahead and bald the rest of it out, letting the trimmer do the work. You don't want to put too much pressure with the trimmer and create irritation on the client's skin. They're made to cut hair, so let it do what it does. And also with that first guideline, you want to make sure it's as symmetrical as you can possibly get it. It does not have to be perfect, but you want it to be symmetrical because this is kind of like the foundation of the fade, you know what I'm saying? But if you guys want to know what's been going on these past 2 weeks, go ahead and drop a comment down below, and I will be dropping a video this week explaining what's been going on. It's been super exciting. And check out my IG if you want to know what it is in advance, at Dreclipperhands. But now we're gonna follow up that bald line with the with our shavers, just to get it a little bit closer to the skin, and this will allow the haircut to last a couple days longer. And you don't want to press too hard with this either to where you're creating bumps, because depending on the texture of hair, this can cause ingrown hairs. But specifically with this client, you know, his skin can handle it, so we're going ahead and just using the shavers to add some longevity to the haircut. And now moving on in the fading process, we're gonna go with our clipper all the way open, and we're gonna go up about a full inch, and we're gonna keep the same exact shape that we made with our bald line to where we slope it down in the back. And we're just gonna make sure that this guideline is even and consistent all the way throughout the entire head. So you'll see me go over that line a few times, you feel me? And now to go ahead and just kind of make it easier to get rid of that line between the bald and the open, we're gonna use the corner of our trimmer and just slightly tap that line. And now we're gonna go in with our clipper closed, and you'll see as I move up in that guideline, I'll start to open up that lever until we get towards the top of that guideline, and it should be pretty much blended out. You might need to go back in detail, but you're gonna go in close and open it gradually as you move up. And you'll see me use a lot of the corner of the blade just so I'm not taking off too much hair, you feel me? And you'll see me just start to play with the lever to get rid of those darker areas. And now we're gonna go with our one guard all the way open, right above that. Again, keeping the same shape, going up about the same width, about a full inch. And don't be scared to cut hair, guys. A lot of times I see, you know, blends that look real choppy and not really blended. It's kind of all bunched up in one area, and it's because when you're first starting to cut hair, you're scared to take off too much. But family, don't be scared take off what needs to be taken off so you can get, you know, the right blend that is smooth and that is stretched out. And then right under that, we went ahead and closed that one guard just to lighten up that line slightly. And right above that, we're gonna go with our 2 guard all the way open. And with this, we're not really making a guideline. We're still going up about a full inch, but at the top of that, we're gonna go ahead and flick out and try to blend into that length on top as best as possible. And we are gonna follow it up with clipper over comb, but right now we're just trying to get it blended into the top as best as we can. Make sure you're always brushing the hair, allowing it to lay in its natural position. And now to get rid of that line in between the 1 open and the 2 guard open, we're gonna go with our 1.5 all the way open, and then we'll close it gradually as needed until that line is as blended out as possible. So right here, I just went ahead and closed that 1.5, and we're just attacking that line, staying real patient. A lot of times we want to see that fade come together instantly, but for the most part, when you get through your steps, there are going to be things that you need to go back and detail. And there's one thing I stress, right, is to try to get through your steps as quick as possible and then spend a good 10 to 15 minutes detailing that blend to go ahead and take it to the next level. And we're still going in with that 1.5, just trying to get it blended. And now to get rid of that last line, I'm going to go with my 1/2 guard all the way open. And if open isn't doing the job, you'll see me gradually start to close that lever. And as we do that, you'll see that line start to get blended out. And if the 1/2 guard doesn't do the job, we're going to follow it up with our clipper open, which I think we do here in a few minutes, a few seconds I should say. Using a lot of the corner of the blade because I don't want to take it up too high, you know what I'm saying? You want to get into those dark areas. And like I said, if the 1/2 guard isn't doing the job, we go ahead and take the 1/2 guard off and just use our blade open. Now what using the corner of the blade does is allow you to go into those longer areas where we use like a 1 guard open and get into it with that blade open just to lighten it up. And you see, as we just detail that blend, it starts to come together. So what I did with this haircut is I faded the left and the right side, and we're going to leave the back for last. And this is going to allow me to ensure that both sides of the fade are even and consistent and come together in the back very nicely. But we're just playing with the lever, using the corner of those blades, of the blade, you know what I mean, to get into those darker areas. And now to blend into the top, like I said, a lot better, we're going to use clipper over comb. And when doing clipper over comb, you want to go in at a slight angle with the comb. So you want to go into it, flare it out, and then any hair sticking out of that comb, you want to go ahead and get rid of it with the clipper. And I have the clipper open here just to be a little bit safer and not take off too much hair, you feel me? And again, we're going in with the corners of the blade. And now to blend into the beard, it's fairly simple. I just go in close and then I open it gradually. You're just basically doing the same thing you did on the head in the opposite direction, going downwards. And his beard isn't very long, so it's pretty easy to blend into. So here I faded the left side, I faded the right side, and we're gonna go ahead and connect them in the back. And like we did on the sides, to go ahead and lighten up that line in between the bald and the open, we're gonna use the corner of my trimmer and just slightly tap that line just to loosen it up a little bit. And then we're gonna follow it up with the clipper closed, and then we'll open it gradually as we move up in that guideline. And now right above that, just like we did on the side, we're gonna go with our 1 guard open. Again, going up about a full inch. And we're just going ahead and connecting it with where we left off on the side. Right here, my client is laughing, so you can see when the client laughs, right, it kind of scrunches up areas of the head. So you want to make sure that when you're cutting them, they're as relaxed as possible. So you're able to fade an area that is just sitting in its natural position, right? Because when you smile, your eyes start to crinkle up, your temple area bunches up together. So you want to make sure that their eyebrows are relaxed, that their face is relaxed. Although here he is giggling. But we're still going to do the same thing, just still with the one guard open, going over it multiple times just to make sure that that guideline is even. And now right above that, we're going to go with our two guard all the way open. Man, he is really on the road just laughing. But again, this is our two guard open, and as we move up into the curls, we're kind of flicking out and creating shape as we do it. We're flaring out, we're not making it look like a flat top, you know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to blend into the top as best as we can before we get into clipper over comb. And now right under that, we're going to use our 1.5 open just to get rid of that line, and then we'll close it gradually as needed. And you can see as we start to move on in the steps in the back, it starts to come together. And now to get rid of that last line, we're going to go with our half guard open, and then again we're going to continue to just close that lever gradually. And you can see I'm going through my steps right here, and you can definitely tell that that fade is not finished, but it is not about how it looks when you start, it's about how it looks when you finish. So I went through my steps as quickly as I can, still neat, still organized, and then we're just going to spend some time detailing here in a few. And this is our clipper all the way open with no guard on it, and we're just trying to just detail. And don't feel weird to pull down the client's ear. I know sometimes it feels like you're hurting the client, but it's very comfortable. Go ahead and try pulling down your ear. It doesn't really hurt. Just go ahead and hold down their ear. So you want to make sure that you're not nicking their ear. That is not gonna feel good at all. And you see, I'm really just playing with that lever, seeing what works and what doesn't. It's kind of like a trial and error thing, trying to get it as blended as possible. And now we're gonna go ahead and connect it with the right side of his fade, and we're going in closed and opening it gradually, just like we've been doing, staying real consistent with it, family. It's all about the process and trusting the fading system that you have in place and just perfecting it, you know what I'm saying? And now right above that, right where we left off on the right side, we're gonna go with our one guard open and just connect that joint. And we're just doing that throughout the entire head. So right here, I'm just gonna take this time to just plug myself again real quick. Please, family, make sure you're going ahead and follow me on Instagram. I have a lot more dope content on there, and I'm really trying to hit 10K by the end of the year. It's one of my biggest goals. So if you please can, go ahead and check out my Instagram in the top left corner of this video at Dreclipperhands. I would greatly appreciate it. And now right under that 2 open, we're gonna go with our 1.5 open, and then we'll close it gradually as needed. But I'm telling you, in my next video where I explain what I've been doing over the past 2 weeks and how I did it, I'm going to be dropping some major nuggets and gems that'll hopefully, help take your barbering career to another level. So be on the lookout for that. I am going to drop 2 videos this week just because I missed 1 week and I feel bad. So I want to go ahead and make up for that with 2 videos this week. But right here, this is my half guard open, and then I'm closing it and playing with the lever as needed. And you can see that blend start to come together. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments about this haircut so far. Any questions, comments, or concerns that you might have, I'll try my best to get back to you. And now we are going to go in with clipper over comb, and this is going to blend into the top. And again, we're going in with the comb, flaring out just slightly, and any hair sticking out of the teeth of that comb we're going to go ahead and get rid of. And as far as what setting the clipper is on, I'm doing all the way open, but you could always do closed. You could put a 1.5 on it, just whatever you feel more comfortable with. And now we're going to take this time to go ahead and detail that blend before we get into the lineup, just trying to get into those darker areas of the fade and lighten it up, just so we can make sure that that fade is even and consistent throughout the entire head. I cannot stress enough to use the corners of those blades to get into those darker areas. Now we went ahead and grabbed our 1.5. And especially in the back of the head, there's the occipital bone, like I said before, that we gotta pay extra attention to detail on because it creates a lot of darker areas. So take some time. Don't be scared to be patient or take too long on a haircut. The client notices when you're putting 120% effort into their haircut. So make sure you're always trying your best and giving like full effort, you know what I'm saying? And you can see as we detail, that blend starts to look a lot more just consistent, right? So we're going back to our 1.5 right here. Just being super duper detailed. It is definitely what's gonna take your haircuts to another level and separate you from everybody else. Now we're gonna go ahead and do that to the right side. And you can see in the back after we detailed, sorry for that text message sound, the black looked really consistent, real even, both sides connected. And now we're gonna go ahead and taper that front hairline with our 1.5. And reason he does this is because it allows your hairline to look a lot fuller, and his curls lay right over it. It was client's preference, not everyone likes this. But now, starting the lineup, we're gonna start in the middle of the head, and then we're gonna move either to the right or the left side depending on what you're more comfortable with. And we're gonna go ahead and try to get it as straight and as crispy as possible without pushing them back too much, because with the hairline you do have to cut through some hair to make sure that it's symmetrical, but you don't want to do it to the point to where, you feel me, you push them back and that regrowth is gonna look crazy. But now we're gonna go ahead and move to his left side, our right side, trying to keep it as natural as possible while getting it as sharp as possible. You always want to make sure you're combing through the hair when you're lining it up. And now getting into the corner, we're going to go ahead and line up the box area. And the reason I said you want to continue to just comb throughout the hair is because when the client takes a shower and their follicles kind of relax, you don't want to have a whole bunch of hangover hair to where their lineup doesn't even look like they got one, you feel me? And now when lining up the arch area, you want to start at the top of the arch and then go to the bottom of the arch and then connect it in the middle. And that is how you're going to get that nice round shape without pushing them in too much, to where when it grows back, you see all those stubbles that kind of look like they got pushed back. You don't want to do that, right? You want to give them a haircut that's going to last. And we're going to go ahead and do the same thing to the other side, keeping it as natural as possible while giving that nice crispy look that almost everybody desires. And we're going to do the same thing on this arch. Start at the top, go to the bottom, and connect it in the middle. And to make his hairline look extra crispy, we're going to go ahead and use some enhancement, which is our Kiss Express and our airbrush. And we're just gonna lightly spray it on to where it looks natural. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't want to make that joint look like it's painted on. That's how it gets a bad rap. You want to make sure it's looking as natural as possible. But it's definitely going to make the client feel like $100. So we went ahead and enhanced the hairline. And now getting into the beard, he has a natural like roundish beard on the bottom. So we're gonna go ahead and kind of just follow what would look best on the client and how his beard naturally grows. So we're just gonna go ahead, line them up. Don't press too hard in the neck area. It is a very sensitive area. And when shaving the bottom of the neck, you always want to stretch the skin because it tends to fold up and you don't want to cut them. And we're not going to use the shaver on his neck just because I'm afraid he will bump up, so we didn't do that. And then we're going to wipe the skin with some alcohol just to clear any oil that might be on the skin so the razor can have a nice clean shave that leaves the ash line. And when lining up the beard, I always start at the top and go to the bottom. And what I'm pointing out here is how I'm just connecting it with the arch. But I started at the top of the beard, went to the bottom of the beard, and connected it in the middle. And that's how we get that nice round shape. And you can see how the arch all the way into the beard kind of just flows together, right? It's like a big, huge C. And then I went ahead and wiped away that first ash line and relined it. And that's how we ensure that the client gets the sharpest line possible, you feel me? And then we're going to go ahead and line up his arch area. We're stretching the skin so we don't cut them. And we're just getting rid of all those hairs that the trimmer couldn't get. And you can see how sharp this joint is starting to come out. And we're going to enhance his beard too. We're using Elegant semi-permanent hair color. And we're just putting it on the line. And then we're going to go ahead and brush it in. And it still looks very natural, but it fills in those lighter areas to where his beard looks fuller. And it makes the client's confidence walking out of the shop A1. So my client came in needing a cut, and we went ahead and got him together with a nice mid fade into the curls. We went ahead and lined up the beard. So family, let me know what you guys think about this haircut in the comments. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and follow me at Dreclipperhands, please. I'm trying to hit 10K. But family, thank you for watching this video. Catch y'all next time.